Hello, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making an old-fashioned ham and egg pie. I have eaten this my entire life. This is something that my grandmama Dossie would always make, and really she's the only one that I knew that ever made it. I watched her make this probably when I was in my early 30s, and I wrote down what she did. I just wish that I could go back to my younger self and say, take better notes. Now, I don't make it exactly like Grandmama did, but pretty close. Grandmama made her own dumplings to go in this pie, and I'm using packaged dumplings. It's a great shortcut, and there's some good ones out there, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. Now, what you need to start with is ham broth. You take some pieces of your ham, whether it's your bone or maybe those pieces that you just don't want to eat, and you boil them with a little bit of sugar. And that's exactly what I've done here. Now, I've got more than I need, but I'd rather have more than I need than not enough. And I'm going to start with about a cup, maybe a little bit more. And this is going right into a can of cream of chicken soup. I'm just going to whisk this together. Now, with the ham broth, you don't want to use the ham that you boiled. You've really just boiled all of the flavor into your broth. And I've just boiled it with a pinch of sugar. I don't add any salt because the ham is salty on its own. And also adding it to the cream of chicken soup is also going to add just a little bit more of that salty flavor. So I'm going to keep this close, and now we're going to start building. What I'm going to do is just pour just a little bit of this in the bottom of my pan. Now, you can make a ham and egg pie as large or as small as you want. Really, it depends on how many boiled eggs and how much ham you have left over. So it's just Jimmy and I. So I'm not going to make a really large one, but I know I want enough to have a few leftovers because it's really, really good. The longer it sits, the better it gets. Now I'm using these packaged dumplings, and this isn't even a whole pack. Now I've let these thaw just a little bit because I don't want to add frozen dumplings to this. It's just going to cook a little bit more evenly and better. I'm taking this whole strip and I'm layering the bottom of my pan with them. I'm sure that this recipe had to be invented by someone that had a bunch of stuff left over from Easter and decided to make ham and egg pie with it. And I'm so glad that they did. It's because it's so good. All right, now I'm going to start layering. And I've got some chopped ham. Now I've got boiled eggs. And I know that sounds so weird. And y'all, it is. If I hadn't grown up with this dish, I'm not sure that I would have ever tried it because it just, boiled eggs, pie, but it's good. And the egg yolks give this such a rich, delicious flavor. Now I've sliced up 3 eggs. You don't want to overdo the eggs, but y'all, it's so good. And you just lay the slices of boiled egg over the ham. And I'm going to make 2 layers with these, so I'm just going to use half of what I've got. And here we go. See that? Now, I've got another layer of dumplings. Now, here we go with more of this delicious broth over it, enough to cover it. This is looking good. And here we go again, and I'm going to do a repeat. Okay, now the rest of this broth is going right over the top. Now I am just going to place a piece of tinfoil lightly over this. And I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. And this is going to cook until it gets nice and bubbly in the center. But y'all, we're not done yet. As soon as this comes out of the oven, we're going to add our delicious crust. Okay, I just turned my oven up to 400, and this has been cooking for about 40 minutes. And I can tell that it's perfect. See how these dumplings are just puffing up? That's exactly what you want to see. Now, my grandmother would add one large dumpling to the top. She would make her own dumplings, and then she'd roll out a big dumpling, and then she would lay it right on top. But I am going to add a pie crust. I'm using a packaged pie crust, and y'all, they just never roll out the way that they're supposed to. I don't know what it is about these things, but they're never my friends. So I'm just piecing it back together. As a matter of fact, I don't even need that piece. Let's just see. Just going to lay this right on top. And just tuck those edges in. It's okay if it's not perfectly beautiful. Rustic is beautiful, right? That looks good. Now I have some nonstick spray, and I'm going to spray this with just a little bit of this nonstick spray. You can also do a little egg wash on it, which is perfectly fine, but y'all, this is a shortcut, so here we go. Spray a little bit of that. It's going to help it be nice and golden brown. And I'm going to take a little bit of kosher salt and just sprinkle right over the top to give that pie crust a little bit more flavoring, not much, and a little bit of black pepper. Gotta have a little bit of black pepper with eggs. Now this is going back into the oven at 400 degrees, and this is going to cook just until that pie crust gets nice and golden brown. Everything else on the inside is done. So all we've got to do is look for that beautiful golden brown color, and we'll be ready. My ham and egg pie is finally finished, and it smells like my grandmama's house. Oh, I love how just different aromas can take you back to way back then, and I'm hoping that the taste will do the same thing. Now, I let this cook for about 12 minutes, and I've been letting it rest for 10 to 15 minutes. You really want things to settle, especially since you have dumplings in there and you've got that extra broth. Look at this. Oh boy, y'all. This is perfection. I hope that you can see these layers of dumplings in here. They're perfectly soft. Oh, y'all, I can just tell this is going to be so, so good. Now, let's just take a bite. I want a little bit of egg, a little bit of dumpling. Of course, you got to have some ham. Y'all, this is so good. It does. It tastes like my grandmama's. The only difference is that I use this store-bought crust. And don't tell Grandmama. Grandmama, I hope you don't hear this. But I think that the actual pie crust is better. I always like the dumpling on top, but this has more flavor and it's thicker. And it just suits the pie better. I hope that you'll try this. If you've never heard of it before, I have a feeling that you're really going to like it. And maybe you had this growing up, but you've never tried your hand at making it. Well, it's easier than you think. You're a blessing. Thanks so much for watching today. Make sure that you're following me at Kathy's Southern Kitchen on Facebook and YouTube. And also, please like and share and comment on this video. I always appreciate that. Well, I'll see you next time. Bye.